everyone, and welcome to today's Flora video on the Bible. Today we are covering Acts 5 through Acts 14, and the title of our Flora video is Saul. Now this Saul is not to be confused with King Saul, who we read about in the Old Testament. This Saul who we're reading about is a young Pharisee, which is an expert in the law, and he decided to persecute the emerging church. And as we heard about in yesterday's Flora video, the apostles were filled with the Holy Spirit, and they began to proclaim Jesus very boldly and very convincingly, and they earned many, many converts. And so, of course, with the growth of a church, any kind of a Christian church movement, or even in a maturing individual who becomes bold and proclaims Christ, there is going to be persecution. We just need to expect that. And that is what has happened here. Acts 8:3. The church persecuted and scattered, but Saul began to destroy the church. Going from house to house, he dragged off both men and women and put them in prison. Acts 9:1-6, Saul's conversion. Meanwhile, Saul was still breathing out murderous threats against the Lord's disciples. He went to the high priest and asked him for letters to the synagogues in Damascus, so that if he found any there who belonged to the Way, a Christian sect, he might take them as prisoners to Jerusalem. As he neared Damascus on his journey, suddenly a light flashed around him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice say to him, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" "Who are you, Lord?" Saul asked. "I am Jesus, who you're persecuting," he replied. "Now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do." So I love this because, as in every person who we've read about pretty much from the Old Testament forward, people are used, people who might surprise us. They are used for the Lord's purposes, meaning Mary, Jesus' mother, who was a teenager, to King Cyrus, who Saul actually reminds me of, who was not of the Lord, yet he was used profoundly for the Lord's purposes. And that was, if you remember that from 2 Chronicles, Ezra, and that was to bring the exiles back and help them rebuild their temple in Jerusalem. So I like that comparison because it reminds me so much of Saul, because he was a surprising person used by the Lord for his profound purposes. I hope you enjoyed today's Flora video, and tomorrow we're going to be covering Acts 15 through Acts 23. I hope you have a great day. I'll speak to you tomorrow, and I love all of you. Bye-bye.